I'm standing on the USS New Orleans. This is part of the newest class of ships the Navy's building right now, something called LPDs. Stands for Landing Platform Dock.
The most versatile amphibious warship in naval history.
And below deck, that's where the big stuff is. Tanks, marine carriers, trucks, Humvees, bulldozers.
As a Harvard-trained architect, I've explored construction projects all over the world, and the design of this ship is indeed revolutionary. It can launch an entire brigade of Marines on helicopters and amphibious vehicles.
With the rear stern gate down, the LPD can do exactly what it was designed to do best: launch these massive hovercraft out to sea.
This is the future of naval combat. I'm going to take you behind the scenes.
Come on in, Darren.
As the world's most experienced shipbuilders tackle the LPD head on.
I'm going to start to lower the gate down.
Correct.
That is sketchy.
But with construction already 2 years behind schedule, these guys are struggling to keep up.
We're into overtime right now. We're staying here. We're finishing this job.
Let's do it there.
Oh, let's do it then. Come on now.
I'll find out if the Navy's most versatile warship will pass the test and head to war for the first time.
There it is. There it is.
Today, I have the opportunity of a lifetime. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek at the Navy's newest and most advanced weapon.
Here we go.
All right, in the checklist, I'm turning ball, I'm slipping my compass. There you go.
All right, so we're heading about 40 miles west into the Pacific Ocean right now. Headed to something called an LPD, Landing Platform Dock Ship. It's the newest type of ship for the Navy.
It's not what the ship is armed with that makes it so special.
Why don't you set up for some
It's what it can carry. Enough amphibious vehicles to send 800 Marines from sea to land, placing them in the heart of battle with surgical precision.
I don't think I've seen this ship. In Antonio class. I wish I would have known. I would have brought my camera.
700 feet long and 15 stories high, the LPD is expected to be so dominant that the Navy is planning to replace an entire fleet of over 40 ships with just 9 LPDs.
And Tower, just confirm we're clear to come close aboard for some...
So far, there are only 4 LPDs in the hands of the Navy, and this is one of them. And I'm getting the rare opportunity to come on board during this ship's most critical moment.
I'm Danny. Hi, nice to meet you. All right, so I'm just landing down the deck of USS New Orleans. We're in the middle of a final certification before deployment. We're heading down right now because in about 2 minutes' time, we're going to launch the hovercraft. So come on. Down this way?
The ship is undergoing one of its final certification exercises. The results will determine if this LPD is ready to head to war for the first time.
So literally, the moment I land on the deck, we're now heading down to the amphibious hovercraft to give it a test.
The most amazing part of this ship is hidden below decks in the cargo hold.
Tanks, trucks, Humvees, bulldozers, all types of vehicles. And below deck on the lower level, that's where the big stuff is.
I'm headed to the well deck, which opens the back of the ship to release the biggest of them all, the hovercrafts. These hovercrafts measure 88 feet long and 47 feet wide.
That hovercraft, right? Yes.
Now, they may be huge, but these behemoths must be controlled precisely, especially during combat. So today, they'll go through their final maneuverability drill. But this is no joyride. Everything must go smoothly, because the next time these hovercrafts go out, it'll be for real.
I just landed off a helo like 14 seconds ago, and now I'm sitting in another cockpit. Where am I right now?
This is the control station for the hovercraft, or we call it LCAC, landing craft air cushion. It's used as a ship-to-shore connector to provide marine services to the beach.
So we're inside the well deck, inside the LPD, and you're about to shoot this hovercraft, or LCAC, out the back of the well deck?
That's correct, sir.
We're going up. Where I was sitting, we just rose up about 7 feet. You can hear all that noise. They've now filled the balloon below us full of air, and we're sliding backwards. Leaving the well deck, leaving the LPD, and now we're dropping in.
Although they weigh more than 85 tons, these hovercrafts take very little force to move, making them extremely difficult to control.
What we're going to do, and I'm going to spin around in a circle, and I'm going to stop it and spin it around the other way.
And we're spinning. Wow. We are fully stationary, not moving forward, backwards, left or right. But this craft, by reversing its propellers in opposite directions, can spin 360 degrees without moving at all.
Hovercrafts work by literally floating on a cushion of air. To create that cushion, 4 63-inch fans force air underneath the craft, where the air gathers in the skirt. When the pressure gets too high, the air exits by slipping out from under the skirt, lifting the craft. This allows them to drive directly from the surface of the water onto land, even at top speed.
Right now, I'm standing on the deck of the LCAC, and you can see they have 7 different Hummers ready for deployment.
Jason, thank you for getting me here.
Not a problem.
Okay,
So to sum up an LCAC, what's the simplest way to get your head around it?
The simplest way to understand it, it's an air hockey puck that you can control.
That also happens to carry tanks and Humvees.
Yeah.
These are crazy.
They're an unbelievable machine. It's hard to believe that you have a craft that's totally made out of aluminum, that you can put 60 tons on and still travel 50 knots.
That's traveling almost 60 miles an hour, carrying anything from their current cargo of 7 Humvees to a fully loaded Abrams tank. Up next,
I imagine it's not the easiest thing in the world to parallel park one of these.
No, it's not.
it's one thing to take this out for a spin, but the biggest challenge is trying to park the largest hovercraft in the Navy into the back of a moving ship. Launching that many vehicles and getting them to shore so quickly makes the LPD unique in the fleet.
We're about a mile from the LPD?
Probably about a mile.
But it's also unique in history, because the LPD actually combines the functions of 3 warships into one. The tank landing ship, used in the famous invasion of Normandy in World War II. Cargo ships, converted freighters used to carry troops and supplies. And finally, docking ships, which first launched amphibious attacks during the Vietnam War. But these ships were each designed for one specific function. The LPD, however, blends the best aspects of these 3 ships together. 1 ship, 3 jobs. And along the US Gulf Coast, the job of building the LPD is in the hands of some of the world's best shipbuilders.
I'm about 2 hours east of New Orleans in a town called Pascagoula, Mississippi. It's at this Northrop Grumman shipyard where 2 LPD vessels are being built.
But the most technologically advanced warship in naval history is proving monumentally challenging, even for these experts. Building the first 4 set them back over 2 years and $1 billion.
In order to keep pace with their construction schedule, this shipyard has to accomplish 2 lifts in a given week on this LPD ship.
All right, Dave, let's bring it on in, Dave.
So today's challenge is to get that 300-ton, 105-foot wide grand block from right over there all the way up to the top of the ship.
A grand block is actually 4 smaller sections welded together, which means fewer lifts and a faster build. In total, the ship is composed of 210 sections, fabricated individually and then stacked like Legos, starting in the center and then radiating out. Block construction is the fastest way to build a ship. This grand block will make up part of the bow section of the LPD.
Is this one of the larger lifts you guys have on the whole LPD?
Yes, it is. 310 tons.
This is a big lift.
Big lift, big lift. But not too big for the Goliath.
The Goliath can do it?
The Goliath can do it.
The Goliath is the biggest crane at the shipyard. It can lift twice as much as any other crane on site. And it's the only one capable of making this enormous lift.
All right, so the lift is about to begin, 310-ton lift, this piece right here.
All right, worm, coming up.
So here we go. It's coming up, coming up. And as it goes up, you can start to see everything that's in there. All the electrical, all the ductwork, all the wiring, all the plumbing. This is literally a complete apartment building getting picked up from the ground and installed over 100 feet in the air.
All right, worm, slow down your hoist. We're gonna go right over the bow with it, straight over the ship with it.
This is the riskiest point, swinging the grand block over the ship,
All right, Reese, we're going up.
where it could damage the 110 blocks that are already in place. Over 2 years worth of work.
My God. It's gonna eclipse the sun. All right, so one of the cardinal rules of any lift is never stand under a suspended load. So as the grand block comes up over the deck, all of us, myself, my camera included, have to get out of the way. However, because of the complexity of the lift, Reese is actually going to stand under the load and direct traffic while all of us go up there for safety.
All right, easy, worm. You ain't close. Keep traveling back.
This grand block is over 100 feet wide. But as it moves into place, it has only 2 inches of tolerance on either side.
So the piece is now coming in now. We're about 2 feet from coming into place.
Go ahead, give me another foot. One more foot. All right, that's a good worm.
And now he's called stop. It's still hanging in place. I think I'm gonna check the alignment on both sides.
Although it took just 30 minutes to lift into position, getting the grand block in place is just the beginning. Now it needs to be permanently fastened to the ship.
It'll take us 10 weeks to fit it and weld it up. In the meantime, we will be stacking assemblies on the forward end of it and actually on top of it during that time.
So the ship construction doesn't stop. You still keep putting on blocks.
That's correct.
The LPD is designed to release hovercrafts from its cargo hold into the ocean. But getting those hovercrafts back onto the moving ship is a significant challenge for the pilots.
So Jason's going to take us back to the LPD, and what's actually very exciting is we're not just going towards it, but he's got to park this thing inside, go up the ramp, and go into the well deck. So it's basically a very, very tight parking maneuver.
This hovercraft is 47 feet wide, and the opening to the ship is only 50 feet wide. It's so tight that the LPD cannot change course during a docking procedure.
What Jason's doing right now, he's talking to the captain on the ship to find out how fast they're going to match our speed with their speed.
It's looking pretty good right now. The ship's moving about 8 knots, so...
So are we matching their speed right now?
Actually, we're still overtaking them. Once we get within 1,000 yards, I'll start slowing down to their speed.
But with the LPD on a locked course, the ship is vulnerable to enemy attacks, which is why it's so important to land on the first attempt.
Jason's now slowed down. We're matching their heading. And what's amazing is the ship is now lowered about 15 feet. You can see water starting to dribble into the well deck. flooding the backside to give us a cushion of water. We are headed in. So now we've exceeded the speed of the LPD, and we're slowly moving in. Wow.
These hovercrafts are so difficult to control. Jason has had the same rigorous training as a fighter pilot.
We matched their speed, matched their angle, and very slowly, Jason perfectly parked this LCAC inside the well deck. Nice parking job there, buddy.
Not a problem.
The well deck is designed to fit 2 of these 90-foot hovercrafts. It's the size of 2 NBA basketball courts. But more than simply store them, vehicles must be able to drive directly out of here and into the ocean. To do this, 2 huge doors called stern gates open up and flood the well deck with up to 10 feet of water, creating a liquid launching pad. The well deck can fill with over 400,000 gallons, almost 10% of the ship's total weight, without sinking. How does it work? 8 ballast tanks along the hull fill with water, sinking the back of the ship and thereby flooding the well deck. To come back up, those tanks are emptied by blowing the seawater out with compressed air. Ballasting counteracts any weight changes, maintaining equilibrium and keeping the LPD steady and afloat.
With the rear stern gate down, the LPD can do exactly what it was designed to do best: launch hovercraft out to sea. The lower stern gate is essentially like the lift gate on the back of a pickup truck, except this one weighs 55 tons. The question is, how do you install this thing? So this stern gate is being lifted by 2 cranes simultaneously. One located on the port side, the other on the starboard side. So both cranes are lifting in tandem, holding that stern gate, bringing that piece right towards us.
This is the part that makes me nervous.
Why?
Every minute that it's off the ground is a minute that something could happen. It could fall, it could do a lot of things.
It's Jason's job to make sure this 54-ton door fits properly into the hinges. If it doesn't, it could cause a ripple effect of delays throughout the shipyard.
Billy, hook that one up over here.
So before lifting, Jason's team carefully measured to be sure everything would align. But there's no way to know for sure until the gate is physically in place.
So you see those pins right there and those hinges? That right there is what this lift is all about. As this piece comes closer, we're gonna have to actually reach under, pull the pin out of that hinge, thread that pin, just like a door, through this hinge. So where we're at, we're about 2 feet out right now, right?
Yeah, we're gonna come south and try to slip them on there. That's close.
That's close?
Pull the pins. Pull them.
To attach the stern gate to the ship, they must secure it with 15 solid stainless steel pins, each one weighing 50 pounds.
Ready? I'm coming to you.
The gate is lifted with the pins already in place to be 100% sure they'll fit back in when it's aligned.
Come on. All right. Oh my God, this is heavy. Gotcha.
All right,
pull it in. That's what I'm talking about. Man, that looks good. Be close.
All right, here we go.
The pins will be installed from underneath the stern gate. But first, Jason needs to find out if his alignment measurements were in fact correct. If the alignment is off, they'll have to take down the gate, cut, and re-weld the hinges.
Once this hole gets to here, this right here is going to be probably in about 4.5 to 5. So it'll work.
And it should. We did everything we could do to make it line up. It ought to be good.
1 hour later, the hinges are aligned, and 5 of the pins did fit. But there's a problem. The 6th pin didn't.
How you doing, Bert?
All right.
It's Bert's job to figure out why.
When I have this pin, you see where I'm off in there.
Yeah. So basically what I'm looking at is the pin's in, and it looks, on one side there's a little bit of space, but on the top side there's a tiny overlap.
Correct. My tolerance on this is probably about a 32nd of an inch.
Not a lot.
That's not much.
54 tons, 80 feet long, and they're off by less than 1/4 of an inch. Bert's solution is to have the cranes slowly lower down the gate in hopes that the overlap might be minimized.
So what we're trying to do is roll the door down 15 degrees. By doing that, we hope that my pin will come straight through.
We're gonna start to lower the gate down.
Correct.
That is sketchy.
When you're doing this, I mean, you have to do
There's no other way
different
to do it.
things to make things work.
This is dangerous because as the two cranes lower the gate, these guys are working beneath an unsecured load. So they've cleared the area, and that includes me.
It's like 1/4 of the way open right now, which is fine if there are 15 pins in there, but at this point, there's only 5 pins holding that thing in place.
Yeah. I mean, if my gap's closing up.
That's about most of the way in. You might be able to drive it from there.
If this doesn't work, they'll have to take down the stern gate and start all over.
We'll fix the find out.
Get it right. Hey, that's all we're into now. We're into a hair more. I'm gonna give you a punch and see what happens. Oh, I got it.
You sure?
Just give me an eyeball. What I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be pushing back.
All right.
See if I can come around that. I love you, Mo.
It ain't gonna take much.
Come on, baby.
That looks horrifying.
That's it.
All right.
Appreciate it, brother.
Very nice. Well, with 54 tons over his head, they lowered it about 15, 20 degrees, and with a couple of good smacks of a sledgehammer, Bert did it. Say, Bert, got it in?
It's in.